Hey, it's Brian Mudd. This is my cheat sheet for Tuesday, November 13th. Alright, so the trend is in, one big one as we get into the fiscal cliff debate, and that involves taxation on your investments. I'm not a fan of taxation on investments to begin with. I think it's the most regressive tax out there. Does it make more sense for us to be encouraged to invest more of our money and try to earn a return on it? That can spur more business activity, create more economic activity, but no, we do have the taxes on capital gains and dividends, and here's the worst news. Right now, long-term cap gains rates and dividend rates are at 15%. The trend is definitely higher as part of the fiscal cliff resolution. Well, you hear some of the tax rate considerations, like maybe taxes won't go up on those earning over $200,000 or families making over $250,000 a year. Maybe it'll be $1 million or something. We don't know about that yet. But more than 80% of the investment community, based upon the rhetoric that's out there right now, counting on cap gains and dividend tax rates going higher. And that's something you want to consider before this year is up. For example, the dividends, the consideration could be to go from that 15% to a minimum of 20%, but there's even some talk of it, and it looks like a potential likelihood, that dividends could be treated as ordinary income. That's been my biggest fear. That means whatever your typical tax rate is, maybe you're at 25, 28%, if you're at the top it'd be 35%. I mean, you take a look at that, that'd be a doubling to more than a doubling of the tax rate you're paying on dividends. That makes your dividend earning income a lot lower by the time you factor in your taxes. Same deal on capital gains. I mean, the bottom line is it simply makes investing less attractive and allows you to keep less money in your pocket. And this at a time, especially with dividends, when people are looking for income through those types of methods, because you can't earn much of anything in any fixed income instruments. Bonds are stretched. I mean, where else do you turn? So you turn to these dividend producing stocks, and now you could end up seeing your tax rate double there. Something to watch, but that trend is definitely in. It looks like tax rates are likely to go higher for dividends and capital gains. All right, healthcare renewal update. I mentioned a couple months ago that this could be a year in which if you're used to just kind of, especially if you have a two-income household, just picking one of your plans and just putting yourself and your whole family on one of those plans, to really comb through and see if it wouldn't be better splitting them up, even if you have potentially a family situation there, aid dependent or so. Take a look at the intricacies and the differences in your plans, because more and more companies are pushing you towards certain types of plans they want you on. Like our company here, it's clear that they want you in a high deductible HSA health account. That is the preferred, rather than an EPO option that is there. And when we were taking a look at my option, along with Ashley's at her work, it was dramatically cheaper for the two of us to go at it alone and each have our own separate insurance plan this year. I mean, the difference would have been thousands of dollars for coverage having our own individual plan versus having us both on one. So take a look before this renewal season is up and see if that isn't a good option or a better option for you than just picking one or the other and putting everybody on that one plan. Okay. This is a cool technology. This is something that I think could end up being pretty popular. I remember as a kid, one of my favorite things to do was to go to the library with my mom and pick out various children's books that I liked. And this is kind of that concept, involving a Netflix-like service rather than having to go to the library. So on Monday, there will be a company that will enable you to be able to stream children's books. And what this means is, as quickly as your kids might go through a children's book, they can go on to the next. And you'd be able to sit there and for $5 to $10 per month have unlimited streaming of children's ebooks. So that's something that I think is a relatively neat concept. Yeah, you can do that with the library, but that does involve dealing with the library and having to work within the number of copies they have at any given time. In this particular case, you would be able to have access to whatever books you want at any time. And if your child has a favorite book that they keep liking to go back to, well, you can do that as often as is needed. I have information about that on my fiscal cheat sheet today, along with some other stories about why it's a good time to trade in a car rather than buy one. Good time to sell a car, not a good time to buy one. It involves Hurricane Sandy and the aftermath. All right, that's the cheat sheet for today. Enjoy yours, and we will see you tomorrow.